Hello. Congratulations on your admission to the physics major, and thank you for choosing to major in physics. You had over 100 different choices here at the University of Washington, but you have selected to focus on understanding how and why the universe is as it is. Everything from the smallest point particles and the forces that hold them together to the largest clusters of galaxies and structures in the universe. Physics is relevant. It's also highly relevant to problems right here in your everyday experience, from climate change to how a battery stores energy. I'm Marjorie Olmstead, the undergraduate faculty advisor in physics, and I'm putting together this video to help orient you to your time here in the physics major so that you can get the most out of your experience here and be prepared for your life beyond UW. First of all, welcome. I strongly believe that each and every one of you has the capable to graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Physics, and I look forward to shaking your hand at graduation. Every single one of you is welcome, regardless of any other identities you might hold in addition to that of being physicist. We recognize that you are human beings with many, many different interests and identities and communities, and we're glad that you're allowing physics to be one of those. We also recognize that you have each had an individual journey to come where you are, and many of you may need some extra resources to smooth your path through our major, and we encourage you to take advantage of those resources. We're here for you, and we're ready to help you transition from the life you had before UW to the life you're going to have afterwards. In addition, I also want to emphasize that as a physics major, you have a responsibility to act responsibly and to treat your peers with respect, regardless of their identity, their background knowledge, their current academic achievements, or their future plans. Everyone is welcome here. And I want to remind you that as you accepted your invitation to join the physics major, you agreed to abide by our code of conduct. As members of our department, and as well as members of the global scientific enterprise, we all share a responsibility to act ethically and professionally. And we recognize our individual and collective obligations to create a supporting environment, to foster academic and scientific progress, and ensure that all members of our department have access to a safe and welcoming learning environment. That is all of our responsibilities. So thank you for embarking on this journey together. So you've signed all that paperwork. What do you do next? Your first goal should be to sit down and create a map of a potential path to graduation and beyond. We don't expect you to stick with this path necessarily all the way through to graduation, but it's important that you sit down now and think about what your potential goals are and how you can prepare between now and then to be ready to follow through on those goals. Before you sit down and pick out all your courses, first, you need to have an honest conversation with yourself. Think about what it is you want to learn here at the university and what you want to have time for outside the classroom and what your personal learning style is, how you best can get what you need from the university. Keep your goals in mind as you are planning your graduation plan. What will be on your resume that sets you apart if you're headed for the job market? If you're headed for graduate school, which faculty will know you well enough to write a useful letter of recommendation? Will you have the right skills, especially picking up enough computing or things that may not currently be in requirements for the physics major, but that you're still going to need going forward? And will you have the experiences that you need to inform your choice of a potential career? Don't assume that you're going to like something just because you thought when you were in 10th grade that this is what you wanted to have as your career. Get an experience where you try it out, doing research, finding an internship, joining an engineering team, figuring out what might help you decide what you want to go for first in your choice of career. Also, make sure you're building and maintaining a social network as you're going through. And if you need some time off along the way, that's okay. Think about building that in if you know that that's going to be necessary for you, either to explore a new interest, doing a study abroad experience, or to take care of any health issues, either with yourself or with your family. And as you think about all these questions, it's not just for you to answer alone in your bedroom, but for you to talk to people about these questions. The Career Service Center here is very helpful in thinking about what careers might be suitable for you and what sorts of skills and experiences will help you get there. So meet with a career coach early. Also, if you're thinking about graduate school in physics or astronomy, or in a related subject like data science or computer science, talk to people who know what is required for those, and talk to people with careers that you think you might like to have, and figure out what sorts of things you really do need to have on your resume. Remember, as you're building your plan, that yes, it's important to get a degree, but in the long run, it's more important to get the education that you need. The degree is a piece of paper that will tell other people that you have the education you need. It's a shorthand, but it's up to you to map these years that you're spending at the university into something that will give you the education for the rest of your life. Think about 10 years from now, what will you wish you'd done or learned or experienced while you were in college? And yes, some of that is the courses you're taking, but if you spend all of your time just going in and out of the physics lecture hall, you'll have missed out on a significant part of your Husky experience. As you put together your plan, don't take every single course we offer, because if you do that, you will not have built in enough time to learn and explore. You likely chose the University of Washington because we are such a great research university. So make sure you take advantage of that. Build in time to join a research group. And also, we have some of the best resources here in the world. Build in time to be able to go to the university library and explore what's there. And we also live in one of the best places in terms of geography in the world, in terms of opportunities to go and explore the world around you. Join the kayak club, climb Mount Rainier. Those are also important parts of your life while you're here at the university. Join activities that will build community. Make sure that when it comes time to graduation, there are going to be people that you want to say, Professor Olmstead, take our picture. Whether it's through the Society of Physics Students, the League of Astronomers, or your sorority. There are many, many different ways to build community here at the university. Also, get to know the faculty and staff here. We love to get to know you, and it's your job to introduce yourself. We can help you get involved in research. We can help write letters to get you into summer research experiences, to graduate school, to be a reference for a job. We're happy to do that. But the first barrier is often yours. It's knocking on our door. It's coming to office hours. It's making sure you are one of the 20 or so names that we can learn each quarter. Other opportunities you might not have thought about within the physics department is something like our German exchange program. Every year we send up to 3 students abroad to the Justus-Liebig Universität in Gießen, Germany. It's a great university, and also it's right in the center of Germany. You can connect, you can go to castles and all kinds of really cool things while you're there. If you're interested, Before you go, you need to have finished German through at least the first year, German 103, and also have either completed some of your core courses like Physics 322, or have a good enough knowledge of German that you can learn these topics, because those courses, the undergraduate core courses, do tend to be taught in German at Justus Liebig University. However, the master's level courses, which are at a comparable level to our 400 level courses here at the university, are taught in English. And so if you're ready for those, then you can be learning in English while also exploring in German. And the applications will open around Christmas time or in January for going the following year. Most students go in early September to take the 1-month intensive German language program before classes start. Another opportunity you should think about as you're making your plan is whether you want to vie for physics departmental honors. This is a way to celebrate our top students and also encourage the students whose grades are good enough to get into graduate school to have all those other experiences that you also need to get into a physics or astronomy graduate school. So we require that your physics GPA be above 3.6 in all of your upper division and 200 level physics courses, and that you create an honors thesis project. So before you start your senior year, you should be getting into a research project, and then you will be able to write an independent paper, roughly 10 pages or more, on that independent contribution you've made to physics, and make an oral and a poster presentation. We just started this, but we're looking forward to have undergraduate honors posters all over the building. And so if you're interested in this, please talk to me and get involved in research early. Physicists are versatile. You have so many options as a physics major of what sort of job that you can have. Physicists learn to solve hard problems. We learn to work in teams and bring different aspects of knowledge to those problems. When we ask our graduating seniors what sort of job they envision having in 10 to 15 years, they have many different choices. You'll see that if you look at all of these choices, clearly everybody's got more than one that they're interested in. And whether it's to have an engineering job, research and development at industry and government, or working at the university in a research environment, computer or IT, going to med school, going to law school, teaching, high school, all of those are really fun and exciting careers that you can have and you will be prepared for after you finish your physics degree. You should think about which of these you're most interested in, and that should inform your choice of which electives you wish to take. In addition to your classes, and we'll get there in a minute, but it's important that you learn outside the classroom. Make sure that you take advantage of all of these opportunities. It's been really hard over the pandemic to do this. And let's make sure you take advantage of all of these opportunities. That's one of the things you really missed when we were closed down for in-person contact. And I encourage you to learn how to use and take part in all these activities outside the classroom. Form study groups. We do not expect you to do all of your learning on your own here in the physics department. We expect that the work you turn in is your own, that you do understand everything you turn in on your homework set. But we recognize that you will need to talk with each other as you're figuring things out. In addition to informal study groups, there's also CLUE tutoring and academic success coaches that you can take advantage of through academic support services. The Society of Physics Students is a great way to get to know other majors. Every Monday that we have a departmental colloquium, the speaker meets with undergraduates for an hour, and there's pizza available for $1 a slice, and it's a great way to get to know each other. And if you want to become involved, please just email the UW-SPS officers at gmail.com, and they can get you on their mailing list. You can join their Discord server and just generally be a part of this community. There's also an active league of astronomers in the building, which is another way, whether or not you're double majoring in astronomy, to just meet other people. Our Climate and Diversity Committee has recently piloted a physics mentor program, and so keep an eye on your mailbox if you're interested in getting involved, either as a mentor to students who are currently taking the 100 and 200 level courses, or as a mentee who'd like to get teamed up with a more advanced physics student. We also have on the books an undergraduate women in physics organization. The student who was running that, there was a core that graduated and we need to get it restarted. So please contact me if you're interested in rebooting the undergraduate women in physics program. And finally, the one part of learning outside the classroom that we do actually require you to do for your degree is the capstone experience. The spirit of the requirement is that you use critical thinking to independently apply all those skills and knowledge that you acquire in the physics curriculum to some sort of activity outside the classroom. Within the physics department, we offer several ways you can meet that requirement. The most common is that you do research for credit in either physics or astronomy. Getting involved in frontier research is really fun. It's really exciting. It helps you realize that physics is a living and breathing field. It's not just something that was figured out before your grandparents were born. Another exciting way to get your physics capstone is to take our pedagogy course, to share the learning that you have and the love you have of physics with people who are just getting started. In these Physics 401, 2, 3 courses, you participate in the TA training for the tutorials and the laboratories for the Physics 121, 2, and 3 courses, and then you become one of the extra people in lab and tutorial to help and be one of those people to bounce ideas off of for the students who are getting started. And then there's also an extra hour a week where you just learn about the process and ideas of physics pedagogy. We also have a directed reading and physics course, Physics 498, where you get teamed up with a graduate student to read papers in the literature and then at the end of the quarter give a presentation about what you've learned to the other students involved in this program. And then we also have our senior seminar courses where you're in a group of 15 to 20 or so other senior physics majors, and each of you researches a different topic and learns how to present that to your peers. There are also ways outside of the physics department to meet the capstone requirement. You can do research outside the building, whether you do it for credit in another department or as a research experience at another university. You can also join one of the engineering teams like the Society for Advanced Rocket Propulsion or the robotics team, or you can do an internship with a company. We've had students who've done it at Alaska Airlines and at Tesla and at Adidas. There are lots of different ways that you can meet this capstone requirement. It just needs to meet the spirit of the requirement and also to require a paper. If you're doing this outside the department, I ask that you write a 3 to 5 page paper explaining how what you did applied to the physics capstone requirement, the spirit of the requirement. And it needs also, if you do something outside the department, to be associated with some credits that we can check off on your degree audit. So if you're doing research in electrical engineering, you can sign up for EE 499, for example. If you're doing something that is outside the university or that you're not getting credit for, then what you need to do is take an extra course that could count as an upper division physics elective. And then those extra courses, that extra 3 credits, plus the paper, will then be applied to your capstone requirement. So those are some of the ways you can learn outside the classroom. Of course, you'll also be learning inside the classroom. And as you choose your courses, choose the courses you want to take. Think about how you're going to improve your life and career options by gaining extra knowledge and skills. And that means to look beyond just physics or math or astronomy or applied math, courses that clearly meet core physics requirements, but also elsewhere. If you're interested in a startup company, then maybe take some of the entrepreneurship classes. If you're not so sure about getting up and presenting your work, take a theater class. If you are curious about what it is that your cousin is majoring in, then take the intro class in that. You are preparing not just for a specific career goal, but also for all the different things you're going to be doing in life outside the classroom once you graduate. Also, as you build your plan, make sure you have time to learn. You have time to go to the library and explore something, or go to office hours, or argue about the collapse postulate at 2 o'clock in the morning with your friends over a beer. Those are all part of learning inside and outside the classroom. To make the most out of your classes, do the readings ahead of time and go to class. Ask questions if you're confused. That will slow, if it's going too fast, asking questions will slow the professor down enough that you can get a hang of what's going on. And also, as you put together your plan, one of the main reasons we have you build a plan now as you're joining the major is to plan ahead, because we can't offer all of our courses all the time, and essentially all of our courses have prerequisites. And the prerequisites are pretty complicated. Here's a map. I'm not going to go over that now, but just keep in mind it's complicated. If you want to take Physics 422, it's only offered in the fall, and you need to have already taken Physics 226, which is only offered in the spring. And you also need to have already taken Physics 324 and 5, which are offered autumn or summer and winter. Which means if you want to take nuclear and particle physics as a senior, you need to have taken symmetry and particles, quantum mechanics 2 and quantum mechanics 3 as a junior. So just keep that in mind as you're putting things together. The list of when various courses are offered is available on our website. If you go under the Physics Bachelor's Requirements and go down to the bottom of the page, you should find a link to our yearly course offerings. One thing you might not be aware of, because it's different this year than last, is we will next year have an extra offering of the electronics lab in the fall. So if you want to get started on electronics lab, you can do that next fall. So as you build your plan, think about these long-term goals and build a plan that will prepare you to meet those goals. And then check for prerequisites, whether it's offered at the right quarter. And then also make sure you don't have a quarter in which you have 5 problem sets due every week, because that will be really tough on your mental health. So taking those into account, put your plan into my plan and then bring it into student services. I'm happy to meet with you, and likewise Paula and Jeannie are happy to meet with you. If you're not sure about the physics interactions, please come and talk with me. Whereas just general, will my plan meet the requirements, then Paula and Jeannie are great for that. Update your plan, get it approved, and then iterate as needed between now and graduation. Your ideas will change. You'll find out about new courses you want to take, and all of that's great. But by having a plan, then you know that if you add something and your plan was already full, you're going to need to think about what you need to take off in order to make room for that, to either extend your time at UW or to say, well, if I'm going to take A, I can't do B. Those are choices that everyone needs to make at some point. And if the plan that you put together doesn't quite get you a physics degree, but you think it should, it gets you the education you need, come and talk to me. Our list of electives that can meet various requirements was set at the time that we put those requirements on paper, and other new courses are being offered or other connections are being made. And if those seem to be more appropriate for you, come talk to me, and I'm open to potential substitutions. So once you have your graduation plan, the next step is thinking about how to make the most of your time here as a physics major. Some habits of successful students. Take classes you want to take. If you're bored and you don't want to be there, then it's really hard to do well in that class. And read the book before you go to class and explore these topics afterwards. And engage in the classroom. Ask questions, talk to your peers, make an arrangement with your study group, and don't just talk about homework, also talk about the concepts that are there and think about how they might be applied to something else. Start your homework well before it's due. It's really hard to figure something out totally on your own, late at night, far from everybody else. Work with a study group, join the class Discord. Go to office hours, connect with other students there, ask questions and listen to the questions that other students are asking. And by starting your homework early, then you have time to identify where you're tripping up, go to office hours and get that extra help. Get to know your faculty and your TAs. We can be a great resource. We can write letters of rec for you. We can direct you to other people. We can direct you to research opportunities. And also check in regularly with Physics Student Services. Jeannie and Paula are there every day, and they love to talk to you. They love to help you, and they want to hear when things are going right, not just when things are going wrong. And get involved with Society of Physics students, with research and other campus activities. That's a really important part of being a successful student here. And finally, take care of yourself. Practice good sleep hygiene. If you have an 8:30 class, make sure that you actually calm down and get to bed before midnight. Reach out for help anytime you're beginning to feel overwhelmed. Don't wait until it's too much to handle, and don't assume you can handle everything by yourself. We're here for you, your friends are here for you, and we want you to stay on an even keel because you learned so much better when you can focus most of your efforts on your academics and not on all the things that are external. The department website is a good place to start when you're trying to figure something out. Under our main homepage, under programs and courses, you can find information about the bachelor's degree, requirements, capstone, syllabi are under here under courses, and so you'll get a lot of information there. Up at the top where it says My Phys, that's where various resources are that you need a UW-Net ID in order to access. You'll find who's teaching what when, and also access to various undergraduate tools, our academic difficulties checklist, the applications for the pedagogy class, for the directed reading class, for doing research. If you're an international student and you want to do a curricular practical training, you'll find the form to apply for that as well. In addition, you'll find the link to our advising and student services page, and there you'll find office hours and the link to come for Zoom drop-in hours and so forth. So phys.washington.edu can link you to all of these departmental resources. Physics Student Services should be your go-to place for ideas and support while you're here in the physics department. Again, the Advising Student Services page will show you how to make an appointment, and anything that you're not sure of, whether it's you need an ad code or you want to take a quarter off, the physics advising email, PHYSADVS, physadvise@uw.edu, will connect you. All of us have access to that email, and one of us will get back to you to help solve your problem. And who's there? Our Director of Student Services is Catherine Provost. Her primary advising responsibility is to our graduate program, but that means she's a great resource if you're interested in physics graduate school, because she can tie you in with graduate students and give advice on what sorts of things make a good application. Our academic counselors are Jeannie May and Paula Newcomer, and they are well versed in university bureaucracy as well as the various support services for you here on campus, and with what it takes to get through your physics program. Our program assistant is Lihong Zhang. She's the person who sits at the front desk as you walk into Physics Student Services. We're in the Physics Astronomy Tower, room C139, and she will be your point of contact for scheduling and information. She's basically a resource for you. She's only just started and is new to the university, but by September, she will have at her fingertips most of the information that you would need to have, or know exactly to whom to send you to get that information. Most of you have probably already met our introductory sequence program coordinator, Susan Miller. She works primarily on the 100 level courses for course logistics, but if you end up as a TA, for example, she'd be someone you'd be interacting with regularly. And finally, I'm the undergraduate faculty advisor. Come and see me when you need advice from a faculty member, someone who understands physics and what it takes to do well in physics courses. If you need a prerequisite waiver or a substitution for a degree requirement, I'm also the person who deals with that. Or if you need someone to supervise your Physics 499 for an internship, things like that, please come and see me. And also, it's important that you sign up for our newsletters and announcements. So whenever someone else sends us something that they say, oh, please share this with your majors, the place we share it is on the announcements-physics-majors listserv. And so please sign up for that, and you'll get information about job openings, courses that are being offered, career fairs. I just sent one out this morning on the information session for people who are interested in a master's or PhD in electrical and computer engineering. That's the mailing list that we send this information to. One other thing that I do want to make sure you're aware of is we do have a continuation policy here in the Department of Physics. We require that you do make satisfactory progress each quarter, which means that you need to take a course that will meet a requirement for the physics major every quarter that you're enrolled, except for summer, unless you have prior permission. And I'm happy to give prior permission if it makes sense for your graduation plan. If you're a double major or if you're doing a study abroad, those are great reasons, but you do need prior permission. So please come and see me about that. Our goal here is to make sure that if you are a physics major, you are actually taking courses that will get you ready to graduate. We also require that you maintain a cumulative GPA of your physics course is of a 2.0 in all your classes, and for each required course, you need to maintain a numerical grade of at least a 2.0 to stay on satisfactory progress. And each degree requirement currently requires a grade greater than 2.0, or greater than or equal to 2.0 to graduate, or you need to successfully petition, and for that you petition to me for an alternative means to meet that requirement. For example, taking a course for which it's a prerequisite to show that you've actually mastered the material at a suitable level. Now, if you don't mean satisfactory progress, it doesn't mean you can't be a physics major. It does mean that we require you come in to student services to get help and get back on track for your graduation. Our continuation policy is primarily for helping you get through the physics major. Our goal is not to kick you out. Our goal is to help you. So your first quarter you get on warning status. We put a registration hold, and so then you need to contact us and say, yes, I acknowledge and I'm ready to go forward. A second quarter, within if you have 2 out of 3 quarters where you do not make satisfactory progress, you're then placed on probation status, and then you actually have to meet with me in order to get that hold removed. If you have a third quarter without progress, and without having 2 good quarters in between, then you're placed on dismissal status. and then you have to write a petition to remain in the major. And thus far, I think we're up to maybe 3 students or 4 in the 2 years since we've had this, who have gotten placed on dismissal status. And of those, 3 of them so far have graduated, and a 4th one is well on track. The requirement with dismissal status is that you need then to develop a plan that's viable to get you through to graduation, and then you need to meet with me at least once every quarter. And if you do not do that, then you would be dropped from the physics major. Running into a snag is not unusual. I reviewed the transcripts of students who've graduated in the last 3 years, and only 1/3 of those students who graduated from our program had 0 drops or withdraws and 0 NS or zeros in a course or NCs. So if that happens to you, it's not the end of the world, but it is time to stop and think, come in for advice, and go forward. And the most common reasons for academic difficulties are external to the university. And if you go over our academic difficulties checklist, you'll find a list of very common issues that people have, whether they're personal or academic. And you'll also find a list of actions that you can take and resources that you can access to get back on track. Also on that MyPhys part of the website, you'll find a link that says taking time off, and that will give advice that if you do want to leave the university for 1 or more quarters, what are the things you need to do before you go to make sure you're all set to come back. And I can tell you that also about 1/4 of our recent students have had at least 1 quarter in which they either didn't register during the academic year or in which they started courses but didn't finish them. It's not uncommon to take time off and still graduate. I also encourage you to make use of the UW academic support programs like CLUE and academic success coaches, and you'll find them at academicsupport.uw.edu. But not all the problems are external to the university. If there are problems in your class and you think there's an issue with the way your class is being taught, the most common issue is miscommunication, and I encourage you to go either singly or as a group to talk with your professor or your teaching assistant. If that's not feasible, then please come and let us know about it. We can't solve a problem unless we know about the problem. If you want to be completely anonymous as your problem gets brought to faculty, please go and talk with Paula or Jeannie, and they can guard your anonymity or tell you the situation in which they might need then to get your permission in order to break that. You can also talk with me, and again, I can maintain your anonymity as I go on and talk to the chair and the faculty member. If there are issues that you think are related to the climate in the classroom, in addition to me as a resource, Professor Stephen Sharp is the chair of the Climate and Diversity Committee. He's also a very good person to come talk with. And our department chair is very open and loves to hear directly from students. You know, one of the things as your chair, you actually don't teach because you don't have enough time and structure in your schedule to actually be in one specific place at the same time every day, every week. But the chair loves to interact with students, and so bringing good things to him as well as issues is something that he appreciates. And finally, if there's a problem that you're not able to get handled within the department, the university ombud is a resource for his job is to be a mediator between 2 groups that have trouble reaching a common agreement. If something isn't right, please take action. In an emergency, call 911. If you're worried about your safety or that of one of your classmates, if someone is acting strangely in a way that you think shows that there is a problem, let Safe Campus know. They have people who are trained to decide whether something is normal or not. If you're not sure, take it to them. Also, if you think one of your peers is not acting according to the standards of student conduct, you have as much right as a faculty member to report them to the Community Standards and Student Conduct Office. The Title IX office deals with issues of sexual harassment and gender-based harassment. The Office of the Ombud, as I mentioned, is a mediating, sort of safe place to have two sides come together in a neutral environment. And also, I encourage you to take advantage of all of the resources that I'll go through a little bit more later that are on the Healthy Huskies website, the counseling service, disability resources for students, and so forth. These resources include the Q Center, the Ethnic Cultural Center, which have various tutoring as well as support groups. The Health and Wellness in Elm Hall has information about interpersonal violence, advocacy, student care, prevention, outreach, and training. The Counseling Center is there for you. The Mental Health Clinic in Hall Health is there for you. All of these resources, they're being paid for by your tuition dollars. Make use of them if you need them. Hall Health also has support groups for students who are international students, for students who have issues with procrastination and perfectionism. There are a lot of groups that you can join just to have other students in similar issues to yourself. Beyond UW, getting ready, the sooner you think about what options you might want to pursue, then the sooner you can get information about what you need to put in your plan to prepare. So visit early with the Career and Internship Center. Go to career fairs, even if you're not looking for a job right now, but to make connections and to find out about what it's like to talk to a recruiter when you're in a no-stress situation, when you don't actually need the job, but to get practice in talking with people. For specifically physics careers and grad school resources, the National Society of Physics Students has a great resource, a careers toolbox, which is worth going through. And also gradschoolshopper.com will give you information about physics and astronomy graduate schools. So to summarize, subscribe to our announcements mailing list. Join the Society of Physics Students. Hang out in the H-Bar. We recently remodeled it to make it a great place for our majors to study, and it will be a better place if more of you are there. It's a great place to meet your study group and just connect, and come every Monday at 12:30 for pizza, community, and learning about physics from our colloquium speaker. Form a study group. We don't expect you to go through and learn all of this on your own. In Physics 321, you'll have a tutorial group. That's one possibility as a nucleus for a study group. But also use that time before class. Introduce yourself to the person sitting next to you. Say, hey, have you started this week's homework yet? I was curious about problem 4. Or I had a great idea on one of these problems, but I wasn't sure if it was right. I'd love to talk with you about it. Take advantages to use your physics outside the classroom. Join research, join an engineering club, get involved as a tutor, or take the pedagogy class. And please check in regularly with Student Services. We want to know how you are. And get to know your faculty, your TAs. We can help. We're here because we love to interact with students. So please come knock on our door. The worst we'll say is, I'm busy right now. Can you come back during my office hours? This is when they are. And take advantage of all these resources, from disability resources to the Career Center. Every one of these is here because we know that many students need them. And finally, your next step is now to get your graduation plan approved. But remember also to revisit your graduation plan as your interests and your plans evolve. So once again, welcome to the physics major. and I sincerely hope you enjoy your path here. And please let us know what's going right and what's going wrong so we can improve your experience here, your Husky experience as a physics student. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.